Good evening and happy day 26. So I've had a couple of questions recently around what a good warm-up would look like. So this video is giving you an idea around what a good warm-up could look like, challenge maybe how you currently do your warm-up, or give you some ideas around what you could really do to develop your warm-up going forward. Now, research clearly states that warming up helps engage you physically and mentally. It helps reduce the risk of injury and also helps increase your club head speed. So numerous benefits around the reason why warm-up is important. However, we all know we're limited by time. So we don't always have half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour to get warmed up in the way maybe the pros do. But what I'd like to think about is if you did have that time, what would that look like? So we'll call that warm-up A. But if you only had 5, 10, 15 minutes, what could warm-up B really look like? So I'm going to show you firstly a video that's on YouTube around Tiger Woods. This would maybe be what warm-up A would look like. And then I'm also then going to send you, or you can click the links to a couple of resources, a couple of PDF files that I've put on to ask you some questions around the warm-up, but also giving you a guideline of what I would do in the warm-up myself. And I'm going to guide you through that towards the end of the video as well. So first of all, let's just have a quick look at what Tiger Woods does. This is on YouTube and they've got a few players who do this. They've got one of Rory McIlroy and one of Justin Thomas as well. So really, really good resources. So Tiger starts on the putting green. He's famous for doing some one-handed drills. That's probably a sense of feeling the weight of the putter, feeling a sense of the speed of the putter, and then converting, then feeling the speed of the ball and getting a sense of the speed of the greens. Obviously now doing some long lag putts, then moves on to the short game area. So hits that number of pitch shots, so he'll be constantly probably varying the trajectory, the distance and the spin that that ball does. He'll probably put some in some different lies as well, just trying to get him ready for that first short game shot of the day. You saw there, he put one in an awkward lie in the bunker. He'll hit some bunker shots of different lengths, some short-sided ones, some longer ones. And then obviously then he heads to the range. They generally always start with their wedges and build upwards. So he says he hits 15 wedge shots with his sandwich. Again, different shots, not just hitting the same shot every time. He's varying the distance and the trajectory the ball's going to go. As we know, when we get to that golf course, we're never faced with the same shot twice. And largely, I would say they're not necessarily working on anything too technical at this stage. They're probably just getting a feel for the speed of the golf club, a sense of rhythm, a sense of timing, and maybe just trying to find a cue for the day, a feeling for the day, maybe a verbal cue that's going to help them for the day, probably linked into something that they are doing technically, but I wouldn't say they're working on their golf swing too extreme at this stage. They're analysing maybe what their ball flight is doing, so if they're playing maybe with a bit more cut that day, they may then take that to the golf course. Some of the older players always used to report that. Whatever shot they warmed up with, they went out and played like that. Then building up to some longer clubs. Looks very relaxed, chilled out. We won't all have a caddy that can throw us the ball and catch it like that, famous for the Tour Pros. 4 drivers. And then he goes sort of back through and just finishes with a couple with each club. And that may vary a little bit tournament to tournament for them. If they're playing a golf course that requires a certain type of shot, they may spend a little bit more time on that. So whether that's a slightly low one, they may need to hit some certain shapes with certain clubs, they might spend a bit more time with that. Then heads back to the putting green. 6 long putts. And then heads to the first tee. So he's going to be and feeling as good as he could do to get ready for that first tee shot. Now that's an example of Tiger Woods and what he does. Now if we all had that luxury of being able to warm up for 45 minutes beforehand, then maybe that's what it could look like. So if you're someone that does have time, I've listed a series of questions that you could go through, and I say I'll attach the links to these on my website. So you can have a look from that. So actually getting you to think about what would you maybe even do the night before a round? What would you do before you went to the golf course? What would you do in the car journey? Could you visualize the shots you're trying to hit, or could you just chill out with some music, trying to take your mind off the sort of outside world? What would you do when you first arrive at the club? So I'll leave you that PDF so you can have a read through. And then what I've also done is I've done another little sheet for you in terms of maybe what my warm-up would look like. These first two stages, these are the sort of things that I would potentially try and do before I go out if I only had 10 minutes to go and play. If I haven't got a chance to hit a golf shot, what sort of things would I do with my body and also my mind, to engage my mind to get ready to hit that first tee shot, rather than just standing on that first tee, not made any swings, not made any physical moves. I would definitely try and go through stage one, or at least some of the exercise on stage one, stage two, so I can step on that tee and at least I know I'm sort of ready and mentally engaged. If I had my full 45 minutes to an hour, I would go through all of these. So I would go through the stage one tasks, stage two tasks. If you're unsure on those, you can just look them up on YouTube. Probably wouldn't really ever do much of stage three, but probably tour pros or more serious players that are playing competitively would do. And then when I'm on the golf course, I generally always stuck to a rule of three. So I used to just do three of everything. So I would do, in my wedge play, I would do small, medium, large. So a small wedge shot, a mid wedge shot, and a large wedge shot, and then I'd times that by 3. Then I'd maybe hit my odd clubs. So I would hit 3 9 irons, 3 7 irons, 3 5 irons, 3 3 irons, and then maybe 3 drivers. And then another day I might do even clubs. And then I would probably hit some different flights. So I'd go 3 lows, 3 highs, 3 draws, 3 fades. Now I'd often finish them with 3 holes in my head. The golf course I was playing, I try and play those 3 holes in my head. So that's if I had loads of time. That would be what a good warm-up would look like. And then I would then go and do some short game. Whereas what you saw with Tiger Woods, he did his putting and short game first. I'd always start on the range, then I'd go to the short game area, and then I'd finish on the putting green. Okay, so there's a little guideline for you. So let's just summarise really the point of that. I would definitely have a look at Tiger Woods' routine again. Maybe go and have a look at Rory's and Justin Thomas's there on that PGA Tour link. But then think, if you did have that 45 minutes to an hour, what would a really good warm-up session look like for you? Remember the benefits. Gets you mentally and physically engaged, avoids injury, and also helps increase your clubhead speed. And in one of the links, I've given you the PDF to ask yourself your questions of really what a good detailed warm-up would look like. But if you only had 5-10 minutes, what could you do to get the most out of yourself so that you are ready to hit that first tee shot and make the best out of your round? Remember, you never go to the round of golf wanting to play badly. So if you can get yourself mentally and physically engaged in the best light possible, you know, your best chance to play the best you possibly can. So any questions, give me a shout. All the links will be there, so just follow the prompts and enjoy. And any further questions, then give me a shout. Take care, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.